everybody. It's Georgia Rose, and I am in the soul space. I was waiting for you guys. I was here a little early today, and I started to do some cards. So thank you so much for interrupting me, because these cards were kind of sucky, and I didn't really want to have them anyway. That's the hardest part when you are a tarot reader or a psychic, and you try and read yourself. It never goes well, because we have an ego that wants what we want, just like all human beings. And so when we start to pull cards, we want them to be what we want them to be. So I actually go to a very good friend of mine for readings, and she is amazing. So I'm going to share the show so that everybody can find me, and then I'm going to say hi to everybody. Tonight we have a fabulous subject. The subject tonight, I was thinking a lot about the fact that we are all complaining that we can't trust anything and all these things going on with current events, that I decided we were going to do a show about trust and faith. So tonight's subject is trust and faith, and hopefully we'll get some callers and we'll discuss a lot of great things and have some positivity in the studio tonight in the soul space, because Lord knows there is not a whole lot of positivity out there in the world right now. So I want to start like we always do with the astrology, and if anybody has any comments or anything. Hi Joanne, how are you? Just come on in and welcome to the soul space. This is your community. I want everybody to come on in and comment and call and do what you got to do to feel happy and positive. I want to start with the astrology. We've got amazing full moon, which is actually today that it exacts, but that full moon energy is going to last a few days. I actually have a wonderful event that I am doing. If Bobby wants to put up the graphic, if he has it. We are doing a cruise on the Great South Bay on Wednesday. Now, some people have been calling me and telling me it may rain. I refuse to hear that, because my radar is saying that it is not going to rain, and it's going to be cloudy with a chance of meatballs. Just kidding. It's going to be really good, and we're going to see the beautiful full moon, and it's going to be the autumn equinox, which we'll talk about a little bit with the astrology in a few minutes. I have 3 seats left for this event. If you want to come on out, there will be a rain date if it's really raining that day, so don't worry about not being able to come. It is $45, and you can actually claim your seat on zencuda.com. Go to events or sessions, and you will see the spiritual boat cruise. If you have any problem doing that, just PM me through the Facebook site, either Zencuda by Georgia Rose or Georgia Rose, and we'll get you on the boat. Do not miss the boat. Boat's leaving 7 p.m. 7 p.m. sharp from Captree Boat Basin. You want to be there, let me tell you. All right, so let's talk about the astrology. I'm going to look at my notes, because I always look at my notes, and I want you to know, whenever I talk about the astrology, to keep in mind one thing, and that is that whatever's going on in the collective is a reflection of what's going on in the astrology. As above, so below. That's why some days a lot of people seem cranky, or people seem really loving, or it's in the collective, because whatever the stars are doing is what's beaming down on all of us. So as I said, we have this beautiful full moon in Pisces coming in. It is the most powerful full moon of the year. This is a full moon that also culminates with that autumn equinox. The equinox is a time of balance, a time of strength, of steadiness, of stability. So this full moon is given a lot of power. That, and the fact that we've had a lot of, we've many planets that have been retrograde for a while, and they're all going to start to come out of retrograde one by one after this full moon energy hits us. So full moon in Pisces, what's it all about? Talked a little bit about that on the show last week, but I'm going to go back and talk a little bit more. The full moon in Pisces is all about connection. It's about divine connection, it's about soul connection, it's about connecting with divinity, with God, with any kind of other realm, psychic ability, anything that's above the 5 senses that we normally feel, touch, hear, see. Pisces is very connected to that kind of energy. So this is a full moon where psychic ability, meditation, dreams will be very, very heightened. It's also a time where we can start to really see things in a different way. And for many of us, that's a time when things are going to kind of be retrospective because of all the planets that we've had retrograde. But now we're bringing that energy into a time during this full moon where we start to see things from the past really differently. And we start to see things in a different light. We have illumination. This is about a time when perhaps people have been very critical of us because the sun has been in Virgo, and Virgo is very hypercritical. But now the sun moves to Libra, where it's fair, it's more balanced. So all of those things that people have been kind of picking at us, that have been getting to us, that are making us think about too much criticism, that's going to even out a little bit. But it's also going to change our perspective in the sense that now we're going to see why we heard that criticism, why we felt that critique, and what the good part of it is and what the constructive part of that is. So we're going to bring that forward. So all in all, that's a great energy. This is an energy that asks us, what's the adjustment we need to make? You know, things have been criticized on us, or we felt that we were criticizing ourselves. Maybe we have to make a little adjustment there in order to be more fair, more balanced. This is also an energy that comes back and harkens of a time from March of 2020. So think about what was going on in March of 2020 that now is going to culminate in the next few days with this full moon energy and the fall equinox. It's going to bring about a lot of karmic culmination, a lot of karmic endings. And the reason why those endings will happen is so that you can have a beautiful new beginning. That isn't to say that it's not going to be without some work on your part to get through some sludge or some difficult time, but I think you're going to find by the end of this week you're coming out pretty okay. Venus in Scorpio is in charge right now. All the planets are answering to Venus in Scorpio, and Venus in Scorpio is passionate. She's romantic, but she's also possessive and obsessive. So that is what's making this intensity. You know, you're going to find a lot of people leaving during these next few days, during this full moon and the autumn equinox and the Venus in Scorpio. This is a time when people pass away. They check out. Animals as well. There's a time when relationships break. People suddenly have epiphanies and want to be free. This is that kind of energy. It's also a kind of energy of cosmic endings where many times we'll lose parents or siblings. People do during this time of the year with the fall equinox. It's a time of harvest, and many people go on and actually find their ultimate karma in death and transformation. This is a time when things start to take new forms, just like when the leaves fall off the trees and we start an autumn cycle and harvest and we start to separate the wheat from the chaff. Things start to take on new appearances. Things start to look different. The light is even different. So this is really a time when we start to see things differently and things start to take new forms in our own lives and we start to take new forms. So this is really a time of change, and that time of change is really about balance. During the autumn equinox, at exactly the point, it's around 3 or 4 p.m. on the 22nd, you can stand an egg up on the table, little thing, if you didn't know that, because of the gravitational pull of the earth and the balance. So let me look at the comments. Elaine, you're a Pisces, so you probably will feel this very, very intensely, I must say. Yes, March 2020 was the pandemic, actually began a little bit before that. March 2020 was right before the George Floyd and a lot of those other things. March 2020 was a time when we were all starting to go home and be isolated and sequestered. And what happens this time of year? The nights begin to be earlier and the days shorter and we start to be home more. So it's a time of a little bit of isolation. But it's also a time when we plant things, you know, the ground is going to freeze over, but there's things that bloom in spring. So what is it that you want to harvest for the springtime and bloom? That's kind of what this energy is about. Pisces is also very deep feeling emotion. Hey, Kim. Joanne's a Sag. This is actually good for Sagittarius. You're going to come on a time soon, Saggies, where you want to go out and about, really be out in the mix, especially during the holidays. So I'm going to move on now to our subject tonight, which is trust and faith. And I think that's a biggie because, like Elaine just pointed out in the comments, March 2020, which is the energy is kind of heralding that same time frame astrologically right now, was a time when things started to get really untrustworthy. We didn't know who to trust, who to listen to. And boy, has that just steamrolled down the mountain like a big snowball in the last year and a half. We're at a time when we don't know what to think about anything in the three-dimensional world. And that also reflects, as above, so below, also reflects in our personal lives. And things are starting to change and shaking us up a little bit. And maybe we've had some healing crises where we've changed people in our lives, on our families, in our friendships, in our communities, in our liaisons, in our relationships, and we're finding that we're not really sure who to trust. So I'd like you all to weigh in if you want to call into the show. The number actually is should be on the screen. Bobby can put that up for us. And yeah, I think when we release with a lot, and Saggies, you're going to start to really feel like you're coming out of your shell and you're going to lighten up. I'm a Sag rising, so I know what I'm talking about. Joanne and Kim are both Saggies. This is a time when you're shedding a lot because the south node of the moon has been passing through your sign for the whole year. And when that happens, it churns up a lot of the past, a lot of the comforts of your past, the things that you think are comfortable that you really need to kind of realize you need to move away from. And it's a reckoning, but it's a growth. And so when that starts to happen, especially now the sign has been there for a while, you're coming on a time where that releasing the worst has happened already, and now you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you're starting to enjoy the different time. You're starting to enjoy being with the release. It's almost like if you have a stomach flu, I know this is a horrible example, but if you have a stomach flu and you're throwing up for like 6 hours, and then all of a sudden you stop throwing up and you feel so much better. You're like, wow, that was pretty awful, all that purging, but man, I feel a lot better now that I did it, and I think I'd rather live this way without it. And so that's what it's like. And so you're going to find things close and then open the floodgates. And it's funny that you mentioned that, Kim. Kim is saying that she closed her physical office space and business is booming. I've related the same story in relation to myself in 2015. I closed bricks and mortar in my real estate business so I could do more spiritual things. And it was such a struggle for me. I was so frightened to let go of this, what I thought was my security. And as soon as everything was done and I partied it all out and I sold things and I packed things and I did it all, as soon as I was completely done, the floodgates just opened and every aspect of my life just grew exponentially. And it was a lesson for me that we confuse security with things that pull us back and inhibit us, with restriction. So that was a huge lesson for me, and it actually happened when my south node was on my my sun's side, so just like you guys, and Saggies now. And it was the biggest lesson of confusing security with restriction. We think that things are going to keep us safe that have nothing to do with what keeps us safe. And it all, in the end, comes to the trust, like the subject of this show, has to come from within. So that's really what I wanted to talk about tonight. And I just want to go up in the comments because somebody said I want to just read out. Elaine says, it's true not knowing who to trust globally. And that is really true. And I'm going to relate a little bit because, if anybody wants to call into the show, the number's on the screen. It's 516-945-9099. Trust was a huge thing for me in my life. And that's why I feel almost like, I hate to use the word authority because I never feel like I'm any better than anyone else. We all are each other's teacher. But I feel like as far as the issues of trust, I am a pro at it. Probably spent my whole lifetime dealing with trust issues and overcoming them and being determined to overcome them and find a place of peace where I could trust in every aspect of my life. And so I had a lot of mentors who helped me along the way and pulled me forward, kicking and screaming many times. And one of the most profound lessons I ever had to learn was sometimes it's very simple that we can't trust, and it's for a very simple reason. And the reason is we don't know what trust feels like. And that was certainly my experience. And so I actually, through yoga, was my modality, but you can find your own modality. It could be meditation or whatever. I learned what trust felt like in my body. And through yoga, I learned that simply by movement and trusting my body to move a certain way. And sometimes you're in a pose, nothing too dramatic. Believe me, I'm not a yogi that stands on my head by any means. But sometimes in a pose, you're nervous to let go of a sensation or a balance. And you have to learn to trust that you can do it. And what's the worst that'll happen? Maybe you fall on your mat. And so by doing that in a series, I learned what trust felt like in my body. I never knew that before. I grew up in a kind of neglectful and abusive environment and had some really, tough experiences in my adult life. And so I never really knew what trust felt like. And I'll bet a lot of you out there don't know what trust really feels like in your body. And looking back now on my journey to learn how to trust, I can think of so many things, and I write about a lot of them in my work and in my blogs. But I remember a gentleman, really wonderful man, that I dated for a little while, had a relationship with for a little while. One time we were just kind of fooling around, horse playing on the beach. And for some reason he had, I think, just come back from some kind of a seminar through his business or whatever, and through his work. And they had done trust falls as a team building exercise, and he was trying to talk me into doing a trust fall. Now, a trust fall is like when somebody, like, say these are two people, right? These cards are two people. And somebody stands, and then the other person falls, and the person catches them. And it sounds simple, but it's hard to do, especially for people with trust issues. And so he talked me into doing a trust fall. And it was the first time in my life I ever trusted someone to catch me. And what happened that night, it was kind of profound, because what happened that night was, that was the step in my journey where all of a sudden I got the sensation that it had nothing to do with him. And that whether or not I could do the trust fall was all about me. And that it had to emanate from inside of me whether or not I was able to do that. No matter who was standing behind me, didn't matter. That I had to be able to do it in my own space, in my own mind, in my own soul, in my own body, in my own emotion, in my own physicality, everything. And my takeaway was that from that night. And it's funny because I really wasn't with that person very long in my life, but there were so many amazing things that were taught to me through that relationship that I just cherish it to this day. And that simple thing took me so much further on my journey, because it was the idea of, no matter what the issue with trust is, whether it's trusting society, or it's trusting another person, or it's trusting myself, or it's trusting, should I eat this cookie, or is this going to be good for me, or it has to be ignited. The idea of it, the energy of it must be ignited from within us. You can never feel trust because of something someone else gives you, does you, or tells you. It's never going to happen. And I think we spend a tremendous amount of our lives looking for someone to trust, that this person is going to magically appear and all of a sudden we're going to be able to trust because he's going to make us do it, or she's going to make us, she's the one, And it doesn't work that way. Trust completely emanates from within us. It's a choice we make to trust ourselves. And then that energy of trusting ourselves, it starts to bubble up inside us, and then all of a sudden it just spreads into everything we do. And one by one thing we choose, am I going to trust this? Do I want to trust this? And we base it on the feeling of trust in our body. And I asked that question on Facebook today. I said, what do you trust? And people were responding, my gut, my instincts, and that's it. It has to be within, You can say, oh, I trust my husband, oh, I trust my wife, but that's not real. It's only real if you first trust yourself and then are choosing to trust them. Because we never really can 1,000% trust another human being, because we're human, we're fallible. Things are going to happen. People are going to let us down. There's going to be disappointments. But if we trust that we are solid in our own sovereignty, in our own being, then it doesn't matter. Because we know who we are and we're fine anyway. We're going to be okay. It might hurt, might piss us off, might be disappointing, but we're going to be okay. Because we have it all in here. And that's really was years for me to get there. But I have to say, it all started with little blips on the radar and moving forward and, stepping forward, and then you trust a little more, and then, oh, wait, I get that. Oh, that's what that feels like. But the very first step is always, you have to know what trust feels like in your own body. And once you know what trust feels like in your body, and you find that by testing, always testing. Like, I had a really good friend of mine one time call me, and she said, this was years ago, and she said, I'm trying to make a decision about a job, and I went on 2 interviews, and both jobs are pretty parallel to each other, and I don't know which one I should take, and I don't want to make the wrong decision. What should I do? And I said, well, Close your eyes and think about how you felt on each one of those interviews. How did your body feel? Were you at ease in each one of them the same? Did one of them make you nervous and one not? Did one make you more relaxed than the other? You're going to choose the one that made you feel the best. What did your body feel like when you were in the environment, when you were talking to the people? What did your intuition tell you? That's trust. That's faith in yourself and making a decision based on my body's going to tell me exactly what this is. And that's real. That's how we live. I want to just read the comments. Okay. So, hey Janine, hey Andrew. Andrew says he wants to find someone I can trust that likes me for me and not what I may become. I think that happens. You know, I'm a firm believer, you all know from watching this show and being part of the Zenkuda community, and most of my message is all about positivity and law of attraction. So whatever you desire and you want in your life, you must be. So you need to, I shouldn't say need, but I'm going to say it here. You must have a need to trust yourself for what you are right now, not what you are to become. And then that person will come into your life that feels the same way. So you see how it works? Like once you get to a point of acceptance and trusting yourself, then you attract that. And I will tell you that is exactly the message of the Pisces full moon. It's transformation, it's surrender, it's forgiveness. So where do we do that? We do that within ourselves. We forgive ourselves for whatever crappy thing we've done to ourselves, and we surrender to it, we accept it, we forgive it, and then all of a sudden we just blow wide open and great things happen. We carry so many things around that we shouldn't be carrying around. Hey Monica, how are you? Okay, so Sarah asks, on the flip side, what if you tend to trust too much? So I'm going to say many times, and I'm not looking to, offend anyone. This could be totally off the mark, but it's been my experience many times with people who are too trusting or, kind of too benevolent. It's my experience that those are people that want it so much in their life that they think by giving it all away to others freely, they'll get it back. Those are people who are actually looking for reciprocity. And what I will tell you is you don't get reciprocity by being a doormat or trusting too much. You get reciprocity by being respectful of yourself and setting a boundary. So when we are over trusting, many times it's because we want to be loved. Many times there are many people who that is their attraction model. That is their bonding system. They want to automatically be in a circle of trust with someone, so they think that if they trust someone, they're going to get it back. And that's an assumption and an expectation that is very unrealistic in the three-dimensional world, because once again, we're all human. So the best way to alleviate that is, once again, what does trust feel like? Is this someone I can trust? I'm not feeling it in my body. My sixth sense is not telling me that this person is trustworthy, at least not yet. My jury's still out. Maybe I'll wait a little while. Maybe I'll trust him a little bit and see where that goes. So if you're too trusting, it's usually because you're really looking for love. You want that feeling. It's one of those situations where we jump in somebody's boat. I talked about that a lot on one of the shows, and I wrote a big blog about it. It's basically like, somebody's commiserating, right? And we want to, I think we lost the broadcast signal, Bob. I got it back. We lost signal for a minute. I call it jumping in people's boats. Like, I don't know, like somebody say has money problems, and you want to commiserate with them and be in the same boat as them. So you're like, oh yeah, I know, I'm having trouble too. And maybe you're really not, but you just said that and you put that out in the universe. Why would you do that? Because that's how we are taught from a young age. We're conditioned to bond, to be like each other. Everyone has to be the same. Everyone has to be like everybody, or they won't be liked. So we do that with trust. Oh, I have to trust this person, otherwise they'll think something's wrong with me because I'm not trusting them. And everyone trusts everybody, don't they? It doesn't work that way. Yeah. So I hope it makes sense. I mean, that's my theory. I'm not, I'm certainly not Sadhguru, but, that's what I think. And I think Elaine is absolutely right. And Elaine and I have this conversation quite often because Elaine is my reader. Elaine reads me. Your own intuition will give you all the clue or trust that you need. And it's something that you need to develop. I think every human, I truly believe there are two things that should be taught in school. One of them is financial literacy because kids don't understand how money works. And the other one is astrology. But I'm thinking there should be a third, and the third one should be they should have classes on intuition. From 4 or 5 years old, you should be able to, hey, what's my gut, Ma? Because I think that kids need to learn that because kids just don't get it. We taught them stranger danger a few years back and scared the crap out of them. So now they're afraid to use their intuition. That's what I think anyway. So if anybody wants to call in, give me your 2 cents. It's 516-945-9099. I'm already having fun on this show. I hope you guys are having fun. So what else did I want to tell you about? Oh, trust and faith. This is really good actually. Since the equinox is about balance and putting things even, very karmic time in our lives, the fall equinox, I thought that this show with trust and faith was really a good segue. And one of the things I started to think about, I read Gary Zukov a lot. I don't know if you guys read his books, but I love his books. He wrote Seed of the Soul, Spiritual Partnership. There's a slew of them. Oprah always has him on when she used to have her show. I think she discovered him in a cabin in the woods or something. I don't know. And he just makes a lot of sense, and he has a very methodical way of writing. It's not for everybody, but I read him a lot. Sometimes when I can't sleep at night, I'll just read a chapter in any one of his books. And today I was thinking about how he talks so often about authentic power. And this whole thing about not being able to trust right now, and society and government and the pandemic and all these things and who do we trust is so amplified. I feel like it's so bigger than it's ever been. We don't really believe in a lot of things. I kind of think that started to happen after 9/11. For me, it did anyway. Because as a little girl, I always grew up with go tell a policeman, run to a policeman, or go, the things would never happen in this country. And when 9/11 happened, it's not that I blamed anyone or was suspicious of anyone in the country. It was just that I felt let down. I felt like I never thought that would be able to happen in the United States of America. So that was when my mistrust of 3D world really started. But Gary Zukov talks a lot about authentic power. Do we have a call, Bob? No. I hear a buzzer sometimes. I think it's my head. Anyway, so that was a joke, guys. Never take yourself too seriously. So getting back to the subject. So Gary Zukov talks a lot about authentic power. And what authentic power is in the three-dimensional world, we confuse being powerful and drama control and wanting to control things and having things to be ourselves. And we confuse right is might with power. And what really is most powerful is knowing yourself and trusting yourself and being solid in your own sovereignty of being in control of yourself. And being in control of yourself in a way that is not emotional, but yet not afraid of emotion. You're balanced, you're good, you're in authentic power. You know who you are, you're very confident, you are totally sovereign in your choices and opinions. You are connected to a higher power because that's where your authentic power comes from. So one of the things that Gary Zukov talks about is authentic power is trusting yourself. And once you have that and it emanates out to other trusting things, that is when you are most powerful. So maybe we kind of need to spend a little less time on what we can't trust and all the stuff and the impressions and the optics and the false narratives and the misconceptions in the world, and more on making our own conceptions right and our own opinions and our own understanding and our own acceptance of those things right within ourselves. And maybe if we do that and we're in control of ourselves more, we wouldn't have the need so much to try and control all this other stuff and other people, because I think that's where it's really coming from. So authentic power, you can Google it, Gary Zukov, and any of his comments. I think he does TED Talks and all kinds of YouTube videos about authentic power. So I am going to refresh here so I can see comments. I hope you guys are still listening. I do have a tendency to go on sometimes, don't I? Okay. Let me see my comments. So I'm going to pick some cards. If anybody has, oh, Sarah says 20, you probably mean 2019 or 2009, I don't know. Okay. I can't see all my comments right now. They'll come back up. Sometimes that happens. There's a little bit of a delay or something. So who have I got on tonight? Hey, everybody. Hey, Sarah. I've got three Joannes on tonight. Wow, popular name. I got to look that up. Monica, Christine. I got Kim on. I have Andrew. All right. Here we go. Here's the rest of my comments. Yeah, so Andrew, you will find someone as soon as you are comfortable in your own skin. That's usually when that happens. Just going down. So if anybody has any other comments about intuition, yeah, kids should definitely have a class in intuition. Absolutely. So I am going to trust my own intuition now, and I'm going to pull some cards for the collective. This is a reading for the pandemic and also our government. The United States of America is actually going into its Pluto return. It's been in its Pluto return. It's going to exact actually the beginning of 2022. And I know the markets were going down today. I think the Dow went down at 1.6 or 7, 900 points. But there is definitely going to be a lot of financial reversal in 2022 with the Pluto, U.S. Pluto return. And I'm still doing a chart for that, but I'll have more info about that in the future in the next couple of months or so. But the U.S. going into its Pluto return is complete transformation about the government. It's complete transformation about our structures. Like, that hasn't been happening. So I'd like to pull some cards for the third dimensional world right now. We'll see what they say. I'm going to just do all my decks here because this is always so much fun to do. Let's see what's going to happen in the world, right? Let's do some predictive tarot. And also, we're running a contest right now. If Bobby can put up that graphic that I sent. We are having a contest. And if you call into the show, into the soul space between now and October 31st, you will be entered to win a free private 45-minute reading with Georgia Rose. So if you're loving the Zenkuda soul space and you want to call in, I can pull cards for you, or we can just chat, or I can do a little quick read. And in addition, you'll get entered into a pool to win a free private, not on air, 45-minute reading with me. Oh! So make sure you call into the show, and Bobby always has that number up for you guys. So going to pull my first card in this reading. And it looks like we got some hurdles coming. All right, thanks, guys. So let's show them some cards, Bob. There we are. Hello. So first card I picked is the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords is a card that is battle. It's competition. It's almost like you've won the war, or you've won the battle, but you have to win the war. You have one more battle to go. I think this is actually a promising card because when I look at this card, you can see that the enemy is retreating. So this is a card of power. It's a card of coming out ahead. So I think maybe we're through the worst of things as far as the pandemic is going. Maybe, you know, these vaccinations are working somewhat, and we're going to see that things are going to look up because this is the moon card. And for me, when I see the moon card, this is the Pisces full moon. This particular Pisces full moon coming in on the Pisces Virgo axis is a full moon of health, I got to tell you. If I'm on that cruise on Wednesday evening, I'm going to be doing a lot of Reiki on everyone and healing work. And this is definitely a full moon with healing. So this moon card coming up echoes that. So I'm feeling this has to do a little bit with the pandemic and that we might have one more kind of, you know, rough time and then we're going to be home free for a little while. For some reason, I'm getting an intuitive call that the pandemic is directly related to the power in Washington. And so you take that however you want to take it, make whatever you will of it. But as the power changes in Washington, the pandemic also will change. Yeah, and this is upside down. This is the Ten of Swords. We got a lot of swords here. And, swords are action. So this is definitely a card of whatever this situation coming to an end. And I'm feeling that's about the pandemic, but I feel like it's going to be 2 years. Hello, you're on the Soul Space. I got a call coming in. Did I shuffle these? Yes. Hi, you're on the Soul Space with Georgia Rose.
Hi, Georgia. This is Marianne.
Hi, how are you?
Okay. Can you pull a card for me, please?
I certainly can. Can you hold for a few minutes?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So I just want to finish these 2 cards, and then we're going to go to you.
Okay.
So I pulled 2 soul cards, and I'm reading right now for the general collective, for the world, really. And I feel like this is really about the pandemic. And I have to say, when I'm getting intuitively, psychically, is that the pandemic is directly related to power in Washington. And as the power shifts a little bit, the pandemic's going to shift a little bit. The last 2 cards I pulled was this card, which if you watch the Soul Space on Mondays, this card keeps coming up. We keep pulling it. You guys see me shuffle the deck. This card keeps coming up. And this card for me is someone who's in challenge. You can see a lot of darkness, the face is in shadow, but all this light coming up through the heart area, through the chest. And I feel like when I look at this and the light, the halo effect around the head, this is someone who is kind of almost passing through the eye of the needle, like we are in a time that we're really in transition and really in transformation, but the light is there. It just needs to rise for us. This light is there. It's coming up. We're in shadow, but the light is coming. And then look at this other card that I picked. This is my Unity with the World card. So the fact that I picked this is, and the way that they're laid out, if you can see, they're actually laid out on the table exactly like this. So the Unity card is above the card of the collective in shadow coming into light. So to me, this means that we are all going to be united in joy, in peace. We have to come out of the third dimensional world to do it. Look at this beautiful moon or earth, whatever you feel it is. Darkness all around it, but the planet is so beautifully illuminated and bright, one of the biggest illums, the sun and the moon. And I have to tell you, after Wednesday, I'll make it, public, but I got a channel on Sunday morning for the full moon cruise on Wednesday evening, and the channel that I got is this card personified. I'm just almost in tears right now that this card came up, because the channel that I was given through God is just amazing that I want to tell people, but I know I'm only supposed to unveil it on the boat, and then it will be told publicly. But I want you all to really, tonight, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, sometime between now and Thursday, go out under the moon and really find what your limitation is and forgive yourself and move on and go into your full potential. That's what I want to say to everyone about this definite full moon. Okay, so Joanne, you're on. Are you still there?
Marianne.
Marianne, I'm sorry. Thought it was Joanne. So I'm going to pick a couple of cards for you, Marianne. I want to say, I feel like you're making a decision about something. Is there something that you're making a decision about? I'm getting the numbers 2 and 3.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Something maybe is going to come in. Maybe it hasn't happened yet, but I feel like there's something really important decision coming out. And the 3 cards that I pulled for you are the Strength card, which is the Leo card. Is there anybody in your life that is a Leo or here or past?
My husband.
Okay, so he's coming in. And the other card that came here is a card that symbolizes for me that you're carrying burdens that aren't yours. So maybe the decision you have to make is about moving on a little bit. I feel like that you're carrying a weight on you that is not yours to carry. So think about that. Maybe tonight under the full moon, go in, under the moon and kind of reflect a little bit and really, search your heart and see if there's something that's really bothering you that you need to release or let go of. I definitely feel there's something you're carrying that isn't yours to carry. All right? And then the third card is a card of the Nine of Swords, which is a card of sleepless nights, but it's upside down. So I'm wondering if this maybe is in the past or will be in the past. If you're having trouble sleeping now, you may move away from that.
I hope. I don't sleep in the night.
Yeah, I think you will move away from that. I think these cards are all related, obviously, as far as the same reading goes. And if you look at them, this is how I'm going to tell the story. Your husband's coming in to tell you to let go of the past. Don't carry the burden. And then you'll probably end up sleeping a lot better. Pretty simple, right? So, yeah, so you've got to release. And this full moon is so powerful to do that. So let it go, because I'm going to tell you something. The choice you make to hold something that's heavy or release it determines your whole life, your whole path. And your husband is coming through to tell me and you and anyone who will listen that he does not want you to have that heaviness. And it's a choice. You have to let it go.
I will. All right. Then.
So I'm gonna send you love and light. Everyone in the Zenkuda community right now who's listening in the soul space, please send Marianne light. Light that will lessen her burden, lighten her load, illuminate her thoughts, illuminate her heart. And please, Pisces moon, let it be. And so it is. All right, Marianne?
All right. Thank you, Georgia.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I mean it.
Bye-bye.
Let go. Let go. This full moon is so powerful, everybody, to really super powerful to release. Full moons are known for that anyway, but this particular full moon coming on the autumn equinox, I've also got Venus in Scorpio, which is going down deep and flying high. I've got the sun moving into Libra, which is fair and balanced energy. This is really, really great energy for letting stuff go, let me tell you. Okay, so I'm just checking my comments. All right. You guys are a good audience tonight. I'm glad you're all joining me. I always feel so good when you all are here with me. If anybody wants to call into the show, it's 516-945-9090, 9099. And Marianne is going to get entered in for our drawing for a free 45-minute reading. That'll get chosen on Halloween. So, alrighty. So let's see. Monica, I'm going to pull a card for you because you're asking me so nice. And Monica and Kim are two powerhouses when they get together. I have the feeling. I want to be in the same room as you two. Always hear how great it is. Got another caller. Hello, caller. Welcome to the Soul Space. Good. I can pick a card for Monica while I'm waiting for the caller to come through. Hi, caller. You're in the Soul Space. Hello.
Hello?
Hello. It's Georgia Rose, and you're in the Soul Space.
Hi, Georgia Rose. It's Joanna Maya.
Hi, Joanne. How are you? Can you hold for 1 minute? I'm just picking
Yes.
Monica's card. So, Monica, the card I picked for you is the Eight of Pentacles. And it's a card, if you can zoom in on it, Bob, the card is actually a cobbler working at his bench. And you see all these coins on the side of the card that show the hard work. These are all his, his rewards. And so this card for you, Joanne, is a card of hard work. Keep working because there are rewards coming. Look at the pentacles in this card. You're going to get all that coin. Pentacles are actually three-dimensional abundance. So keep doing your work, whether it's in the spiritual realm or whether it's in the actual realm. The Eight of Pentacles is a card that shows you that your rewards are coming. All right, Monica? So there you go. So, Joanne, how are you?
Oh, hanging in there.
Oh, you sound good today, though.
Yeah, I always try to keep up.
Now you were called. You were on the comments last week, and I felt like your father was coming in. Was that you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My father passed away a long time ago. I
Yeah.
never really knew him because my mom and him had problems, so I just never knew him.
Yeah, and he was coming in, and I felt like it was something to do with a birthday or a holiday or something, and then you could confirm that. So I'm going to pick a card for you. They're telling me actually to pick an angel card for you. I feel like for some reason you really need angels around you. You have been, you've been feeling those angels around you. I feel like that's what's making you more lighthearted too.
Right.
So let me Pick an angel card for you, babe. Alrighty.
Okay.
I'm going to cut this deck for you. Okay. Comfort, Archangel Azrael. I am with you in your time of need, helping your heart to heal. And we were just saying that I felt like the angels were with you, and that's why you were feeling lighter. So at night before you go to bed, Joanne, bring in this beautiful angel. Can you see all this beautiful blue color on the card? I don't know if you're watching or just listening.
Yes.
But there's this beautiful color blue on the card. Before you go to sleep at night, this is a very healing energy for you that I'm talking about. And I know you've had some health issues, and this is all healing energy. I want you, and it's the same color as this beautiful crystal that a very beautiful friend of mine gifted me. This beautiful aquamarine blue. I want you to envelop yourself in it before you go to sleep, almost like you're in a big tube of sparkly blue light. And just fall asleep that way every night, knowing that the angels are healing you, healing every part of you right down to your cell.
Okay.
All right. So take Archangel Azrael, Azrael. You can even look her up if you want, learn more about her. But they're sending you comfort. So put yourself in that blue light every evening before you go to bed.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm going to pick a card for another Joanne Odia, because I think she's pretty new to the show. She hasn't always listened, and I'm glad she's here. She's actually a friend of mine. And thank you for sharing the show also, Joanne. That was really sweet of you. I'm going to pick 2 cards for you. I'm actually going to pick a tarot card, and I'm going to pick an angel card. Oh, this one flew out of the deck, so we're going to use that one. And I'm going to pick an angel card for you. And hopefully you are surrounded by angels. Hello, welcome to the Soul Space. You have to hold for a minute. So, Joanne, we've got the Queen of Swords, and we've got crystal clear intentions. So I want to talk to you first about, I pulled the Queen of Swords for you, Joanne. Queen of Swords is a very powerful card. This is you. This is you like sitting on the throne. You've got the power. You may doubt yourself sometimes, but you've come through a lot of stuff. And this is you on the throne. If you look at this card, it's someone who has her hand outstretched. She's ready to receive the gifts that the universe and the world is giving to her. The Queen of Swords is also someone who's very practical. It is someone who is very strong in their convictions and never gives up. So the fact that you got this card is Spirit, God, Jesus, whoever you believe in, coming in to tell you never give up, that there are good things and rewards coming for you. And with that card, we got crystal clear intentions, Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael also is one of the most powerful angels. He happens to be one of my favorite angels in the world. And when Archangel Michael comes through in a reading like this, it means that you're protected and surrounded. So your energy is really good, and Spirit is telling you to move forward. Don't be afraid to take a leap of faith. Believe in yourself above all things, and know that you are truthful and you have a loving heart, and that you will be rewarded. The card says, Archangel Michael, be clear about what you desire and focus upon it with unwavering faith. It's kind of like what I just said, and if there's something that you really desire and you know you are capable of doing, just keep the course, steady course, and keep going, because they're telling you, you got it, you got this, girl, all right? So that's beautiful. So that is for you. And have a good night, Joanne. And we have a caller. Hi, you're in the Soul Space.
Hey, Georgia, it's Kim.
Hi, Kim. Oh, my heart hurts
How
now.
are
I
you?
miss you.
I decided to give myself a treat and call in because it's been so long since I have actually had something like a card reading for myself, and I'm feeling it. So with so many changes going on,
We're gonna do you up.
No,
You and I have to
happening.
You and I have to get together for an afternoon.
I agree.
So I'm gonna
agree.
pull a couple of cards for you, because the show's like closing, and I'm gonna pull a couple of cards for you, and then anybody else who didn't get a card this week, just tune in to Soul Space next week. So Kim Shiano is on the line. I just want you guys to know, if you have not already, you need to pop over and like Serenity Within Wellness on Facebook. Kim is a very gifted healer. Her heart is pure love. and she is just one of my soul sisters. So pop over there, everybody that's in the community right now, and like Serenity Within Wellness. Kim does great stuff. So going to pick some cards for my Kimmy. All right.
Awesome.
Okay, Kimmy, I feel like you walked away from an emotional situation. This was you closing your office. And you're still a little uncertain of how this is all going to play out, but you know it's going to be great. You've got the World at your feet. All right, I got the World card. I have the Chariot in reverse. And I've got the Eight of Cups. Now, Eight of Cups is walking away from an emotional situation, but look at all the cups in this card. It's abundance coming. Like you just said on the chat before, it's clearing something so better can come in. So you did the absolute right thing. Now, I feel like the reason why we're getting the Chariot card, and the Chariot card is a card of decision. It's like trying to move forward but haven't made the ultimate decision yet. I feel like this is because you just haven't put the finishing touches. It hasn't come in yet. It's going to flow. So don't be worried or upset or frightened, because I know you have ultimate faith. Spirit is going to still be bringing you something that's going to be a fork in the road for you, and it's something really good. So the period is not at the end of the sentence yet. You know, you may have in your mind the way you think something's going to be, but I have a feeling it's going to be like 10 times even better. Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
So something's still developing.
And I'm ready.
Yeah, and something's still developing, because the other card I got is the World card. And this means a lot of different things to a lot of readers, but when I get the World card in a spread like this, to me it means like the world is your oyster kind of thing. Like anything that you desire, you're manifesting at a very, very fast rate right now. So keep your thoughts really, really pure, because the manifestation is heightened, especially now with the energy we have coming in. So from between...
That's a good...
Yeah, from between now until, like I would say, the middle end of October, third week of October, there's going to be some surprises for you. But they're good.
Oh, I'm ready to welcome them. It's funny that comes up because there's possibly going to be a slight change in my job, and it's a very positive change. And I have been trying for a while to make this kind of change, but this time I feel it's real, it's happening.
Yeah, I feel so too. And I have to... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I feel like it's like mid-October. I feel like that's
Yeah, because I'm seeing October 18th in my mind, and there's some planets that are going forward on October 18th. So I just want to pick a different card because I picked that card before. The planets are moving forward by then, so you're going to have it. I got a wrap, so I'm going to pull this angel card for you, and then I'm going to close out the show. You got relationship harmony, Archangel Raguel. And when I see Archangel Raguel, for me, it's not just relationship harmony, Kim. It's harmony in everything in life. It's balance. So this is, we angels are opening the hearts of everyone. Arguments and conflicts are being resolved. So if there's anything that's been an impediment in the way of this development happening between now and October 18th, it's going to fall away. Everything's going to fall into place.
That's perfect. That's what I needed to hear.
Yeah.
I love you, and
I love you too. We're going to have an afternoon together soon.
All right. That sounds awesome. And thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
We're all blessed.
Yes, we are all blessed. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Strong Island Television this evening and for joining me in the Soul Space. I'll be back next Monday at 7 o'clock right here on Strong Island. Thanks. Bye-bye.